Today marked the day, the vetting day, and these IBC officials, who will of course, spearhead the next elections in Kenya, had this to say, and some of them actually shocked Kenyans, and people were like, "Will this election be free and fair?" Folks, welcome back, and of course, this is Dr. Politica. Here we decode power in the said Kenya. I'm Peter Ogutu. Welcome back. Now, you know, this vetting, I've been going through it, and there are some shocking details that emerged. In fact, Hassan Nur Hassan, Erastus Edung, the chairperson to be, Anne Berito, and Mary, Karen Thorbit were vetted, and some of them actually said things that Kenyans didn't expect. For example, Mary said this. Mary Karen said that she was a member of Jubilee, yeah, and now she is a member of UDA. Of course, to a huge number of people, this is a red flag. This Mary Sorobit, Mary Karen, she was a member of Jubilee, and of course, she became a UDA member. So it means that she has a very strong political affiliation to William Samoei Ruto because she was in Jubilee, courtesy of Ruto, being the deputy president then, and now she's in UDA because Ruto is the president. So it means that this lady is somehow affiliated to Ruto's party. Of course, I'm not saying that she will be used, but that's the case. She is a member of UDA. And of course, as a member of UDA, she would want Ruto to be the president because he is the party leader. And rules of the party is that you have to campaign for your party leader. Yeah, when you campaign, for example, let me take you back to what happened last week. Gloria Oroba was the nominated. Yeah, what happened? What made her removed from her seat? Because she went and campaigned for Matiangi, who is of course perceived to be William Ruto's rival to be. So that's on the party rules that you have to campaign for your leader and you have to support your leader. So Mary Karen, since she's a UDA member, this of course casts doubts. People like, will she be biased? Yeah, will she be biased? Because she says that she's a UDA member. And again, you are yet to know that. Yeah, because the job is still not hers. She's yet to be given the job. So once she's given the job, Kenyans will go through her, through our discipline. People will determine whether she's biased or not. But of course, she says some things that are red flags. Now the chairman, of course, this is where the focus is. The chairman, Erastus Edung, who is supposed to be the chairman now, and of course, he will be the chairman of IBC. Remember what happened to Chebukati? Yeah, Chebukati, of course, first died someone who's mixed with hatred. Okay, some Kenyans hated him, a huge percentage, and of course others liked him. But Kenyans didn't like Chebukati because it is believed that Chebukati was used by politicians to, of course, dig Raila Odinga out. And that's what people have been saying. So Edung now is the focus. And what he said is that he was asked by Utenda Molo, will you be biased? Will you favor Ruto in the results that will be coming? The guy couldn't answer the question. Actually, they call it meandering. He was going around the bush. And he was asked the question like 3 times, will you favor William Samoei Ruto in the next results? Um, his answer was somewhat shaky. Of course, said no, because no one expects him to say yes. But the way he answered it, sharp person could just tell why this guy, shaking. Because um, Edum, uh, people believe that Nanok, who is State House Deputy Chief of Staff, is the person who, of course, connected Ruto with Edung. And people believe that this chairman will be used the same way Chebukati was allegedly used. Let me put it that way, because there's no evidence to back all these claims. Huh? So let us use the word allegedly. So this chairman to be Erastus, people believe that you want to be fair, yeah. And actually, Kalonzo's team, Gachagua'S team, they have been bashing William Samoei Ruto, telling him that he is planning to rig elections. In fact, this statement from Gachagua almost had him arrested because people said that Gachagua is, inciting Kenyans into violence. But no, you're just trying to caution the president. And this election issue seemed to be going, as in, people so sensitive when it comes to this election issue because he does not want anyone to talk about it. That's why you see, in fact, he wanted to arrest Gachagua, but politically he couldn't do it because he knows very well that if at all he misses and arrests Gachagua, that will be actually the end of him with Mount Kenya people. So he can't just arrest Gachagua. But he's not happy with Gashagua's statement about election rigging. Yeah, probably he knows that Gachagua can leak some secrets that he wouldn't want Kenyans to know. Anyway, um, Edung, Erastus Edung is the focal point of this election, and whatever he will do, Kenyans will judge him. That's the same way, Chebukati was judged because Chebukati was accused of so many, offenses. For example, in 2017, even Maraga himself nullified the elections. It said that elections should be repeated. Though Raila walked away, he said no, he can't go to another election with Chebukati as the chairman because he believed that Chebukati was going to manipulate the results. Yeah, and of course that gave Uhuru an easy win because he vied against himself and he won the elections. Huh? Now, the same thing. History always repeats itself, and Kenyans, 80% of Kenyans believe that IBC is usually used by people in power to manipulate the results. Yeah, and people believe that this IBC will be used because right now the president is not sleeping. When you see Gen Zs, waiting for you to vote you out. As someone who's in power, you can't sleep, huh? And the president is not sleeping. Always thinks of ways of how he will be re-elected. Right now, it's with Raila, trying to campaign in Nyanza. But now, the campaign is not enough, huh? Because he's not sure of the results. Now, do you think this IBC chairman will be manipulated by people, by the president? Because this question he was asked severally by the people in the panel. Otiende Amolo insisted on the question and asked him, will you favor William Ruto in the next election results? And of course, he couldn't answer the question, even though he said no. But the way he answered the question tells it all that something is missing. So, um, my viewer, you just tell me, do you really believe that this election, this panel, will deliver a free and credible results? Because um, William Ruto wouldn't want to repeat the same mistake. Remember, last results, Chebukati said Ruto won, but Cherera, together with their team, they said no, Ruto did not win the elections. Huh? So people don't know who won the elections. But some things came out clearly that Raila Odinga might have maybe Raila had a strong case because remember you're losing the elections, yet you have the majority of MPs, majority of governors. Huh? So this casts questions: how did this guy lose the elections? Yet he had the majority of MPs because Ruto did not win with Ruto. Ruto was the minority in the parliament. Yeah, that's why after he was announced the winner, what did he do? He bought MPs from Raila's side because he knew that he can't lead the nation without no with a small number of MPs. Because if you lead the nation with a small number of MPs, you stand a chance of being impeached. Remember Kibaki uh, during the coalition government. What happened? Kibaki had few MPs, and Raila had the highest number because Raila was the one who won the elections in 2007. That's the reality. So what happened? Kibaki could not even pass a bill in parliament because Raila was controlling the parliament. In fact, Kibaki should be very happy because Raila is a very reasonable politician. If Raila would have been Ruto at the time, Kibaki would have been impeached because your time hatukuwa na senators, hatukuwa na governors, it required to only member of parliament. Huh? It means Raila would have impeached Kibaki very easily because Raila had the majority of member of parliament. Huh? But now, based on what happened, the chaos and whatever, Raila couldn't do it because he didn't want issues because at the time even ICC was high in Kenya. Now, that aside, now if this chairman Rastas will be used with Ruto, I think Kenyans will not, will not stand a chance of democratically electing their leaders. But if Edu will be fair, of course, we will have the president Kenyans will choose. It is too early to know who will win the elections, but the campaign is so serious, and William Ruto, as the president, I think is really calculating how he's going to be re-elected, either by campaigning or whatever. But the good thing is that the president is really campaigning. Yeah, he's campaigning by day. So I think you want to go the hard way, but maybe convincing Kenyans to vote for him. But let's wait and see. The question I will leave you with is that: do you think this election will be manipulated? Yeah, or do you think Kenyans are just worried, but no one is planning to rig these elections? Tell me what you think. And of course, hit me on the comment section, and Dr. Politica will be glad to hear your comment and see you next time in the next video. Thank you.